now we're ready to lay down the sandwich layer of the fiberglass mesh that's going to run underneath the KF airfoil. You're going to need one of the types of mesh we went over earlier, a pair of scissors, and the hot glue gun. Basically what you want to do is cut out your pieces so that they're just a little bit longer than what you need. We're going to be leaving about a ½ inch in front of it on the foam, so that way when we lay the KF airfoils down, we'll still have room to bevel the front leading edge without hitting the mesh. Basically what you want to do is overlap the fiberglass by about ½ inch. And then we're going to use the glue gun to tack it onto the foam. And all you want to do is put a very small bead down in a few places. And then spread that bead around with the tip of the hot glue gun, trying to get it down into the mesh and glued down to the foam. Make sure you don't put it right on where you're going to be cutting it later. I usually start at the front and work my way back. So just put a couple little small dots of hot glue down. Spread them on there and rub them in so that they're nice and flat. You want to make sure that it's flat so that way when we tape over it, it won't show through and it won't be a bump. Alright, then after it cools down, you just work your way down all the way to the trailing edge. And when you get to the trailing edge, you want to put a few tacks right down here to help keep it, because it's got that arc in it. You want to make sure that it's held down flat. The most important thing is to make sure that the sheet is tacked down flat without any bubbles in it. That way when we're ready to spray it, we can make sure that the wing is sitting on a flat surface and spray it with the spray adhesive and everything should be good. Alright, I have this one tacked down pretty good. I ran a couple beads down where the overlap is just to make sure that it sticks down good, and another row down here and towards where I'm going to put the next layer. Next we want to just go ahead and trim it with the scissors again. Like I said, I'm going to leave about a ½ inch on the leading edge so that way when we bevel it, it won't hit the mesh. I just take the scissors and go ahead and trim it. I just eyeball it. It's not going to be that important because it's going to be underneath the layer of it's going to be underneath the KF airfoil, so you won't see it. And just trim it off as close to about a ½ inch. Alright, on the back I just follow the trailing edge with the scissors and trim it off. If you just butt it up against the back of the wing, you can pretty much just follow it and then trim it exactly to the edge of the wing. And same thing here, I just butt it up against the wing, follow the edge. And same on this part here. And if you have to, come back and trim a little more. Do it in the second pass. That's fine. You just want to make sure that's even with the edges all the way around. We're going to be, after we do both sides, we're going to be spraying it and then using the cross weave strapping tape to connect the edges. Alright, basically that's how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the video and finish covering the rest of the wing. The wing is now completely covered with the first layer of fiberglass weave, and we're getting ready to go ahead and spray it with the 3M90 spray adhesive. There are others that you can use. You could probably get away with the 77 or some of the other spray adhesives. We like this one the best because when it dries it's not tacky. Some of the other ones will stay sticky when they're dry. I would suggest if you're going to use a different type, test it on a scrap piece of foam first to make sure it doesn't eat it. You will need a pair of gloves and a paper mask just to protect yourself. We're going to go ahead and move this outside to spray it because you don't want to do this in a place that's not ventilated. It's best if you can do it outdoors. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start spraying. One other thing I forgot to mention is you do need to have a putty knife to spread the glue around once you got it down. I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly what I mean when you want to test it. Just make sure you have a scrap piece of foam and test spray the glue onto the foam first. And make sure that it's not eating it. Alright, it looks like we're good to go with this. So I'm going to go ahead and start spraying it down. You want to go ahead and start in the middle and work your way around. Like I said, lay down a liberal amount. You want to put a lot of foam on, or a lot of the glue down on there. And then just spread it out quickly before it dries. This stuff dries pretty fast. You want to make sure that you're on a flat surface and work the glue down to the foam. I'm going to put another layer on it. And just keep working your way to the outside of the wing tips. Don't worry about getting too much glue on there. You can't have really too much. You want it to stick to the foam as best as you can, so that way it'll make it really bulletproof. When you crash, it won't break loose. And you can kind of tell when it starts getting tacky. That's when you really want to pay attention to make sure that the fiberglass isn't peeling up on you. Kind of go over it again just to make sure that it's tacking down to the foam. And if you see any little bubbles popping up, just push them down with the corner edge of the putty knife, and once the glue starts getting tacky, it'll stick down. I usually like putting at least a couple layers of the glue on there. Let the first coating tack up first. Alright, just like I said, double check, make sure you don't have any spots where the fiberglass isn't touching the foam. You want it all to be tacked down. Yeah, it's starting to getting hardened up already. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and let it sit for a few minutes, and then I'll spray a second coat over it. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put the second coat on there. One thing else you can do, if you have the gloves on, you can pat it down once it gets tacky to make sure that you get all the bubbles out before you put the second layer of glue on it. Once it gets tacked up good, it's not as sticky. That's why I said I like the 90, because it doesn't dry tacky like the 77 does. So I'm going to go ahead and spray it again. And again, spread it with the putty knife. And 2 coats should probably be enough. Alright, well basically that's how we do it. I'm going to go ahead and shut off the video and I'll do the other side. Just do it the same exact way and you should be good to go.